NFC preview show here on the AM Drive. For me, it is Monday, September the 4th. For Aaron, it is still Sunday, September the 3rd when we were recording this. Aaron is in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am in Savannah-ish, Georgia, and I'm your other co-host, Michael Carvelis. Aaron, are you ready for the NFC?
Yes, Michael, but I must say one thing.
Oh, Lord.
If you ever walk into this state and call it Nevada, you will not walk out of this state.
Where's Las Vegas located at?
Nevada.
Oh, dear. Just like the Louisville thing?
Just saying, if you walk into this state and say, it's great to be here in Nevada, you will not walk out of this state.
I'm going to clip you saying it's great to be in Nevada.
Just letting you know. Just
I never knew that. That's wild.
Warning you now.
All right, cool. It's time for NFC South preview. And God, this division is incredible. May I remind you, it actually might make my prime time in Week 18 based on the divisions that I was doing. I used playoff predictors.com. Aaron did not, so he's kind of like winging his 1 through 4. I have a whole list that you saw from the AFC when I had 1-16 for the Raiders. Aaron, your wonderful, loving hometown Buccaneers. How are we feeling about Baker / Trask / Todd Bowles, or should I say Todd Bowles?
So this team is obviously in full rebuild mode. Mm-hmm. And as a fan of the Buccaneers, I would want that to happen. As an enjoyer of football, you never want to see anybody tank. But I feel like this is the necessary situation. The unfortunate thing for me is I don't feel like they'll tank well enough to end up with the number 1 pick and get Caleb Williams, because there's enough good players on this team that they'll win games they don't want to win. So for me, the Buccaneers are a very middling team. Would not shock me. Maybe a bold prediction, maybe not. Would not shock me if Mike Evans was traded.
Yeah, I saw that on the Sleeper Fantasy app. They were talking about how Godwin and Evans would be traded. I'm like, wow, that would be interesting. I wonder who, too.
Oh, man, I thought that was an original thought.
No, I mean, it's kind of like they reported. Well, you know how those reports go. We don't actually know, but if you're predicting it, that'd be kind of like, that'd be a big thing.
Well, I honestly just figured anybody over 28's gone. Shaquille Barrett, maybe Levante David.
Wow.
I mean, I think the untouchables on this team are possibly Devin White, Tristan Wirfs, and that might be it.
That's rough.
Yeah, but I think it's coordinated. I think
Antoine Winfield, maybe.
Yeah, okay, maybe Antoine Winfield. But again, if they can get back better than they expect for him, I think everybody's on the table here. Godwin and Evans, withstanding. Yeah, this will be a bad season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I know, being a Bucs fan, there's a lot of bad seasons being a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. Mm-hmm. So.
You guys have like one good year, and then you go for 20 years of just being terrible, and then you got another one.
Well, you look at it, I think before that Super Bowl run, they hadn't made the playoffs since like 2006.
Oh, gross. So, I could not find a lot of wins on the schedule. As far as your number 1 pick scenario goes, I have them finishing with the number 3 pick, which means I do not have them with a good record, but 3 is probably like a good spot. But if it's not Drake May or Caleb Williams, like, what are you getting? Is it hopefully Sam Hartman's good? Is it who's left at that point? So we'll see. I do think they want a quarterback, so I could see them like trying to go for 0-17, considering there are some other bad teams in this NFL. But as far as this division is concerned, I think every team right now is better than them, even the Panthers. And I'd like to think their defense can keep them in games, but like you said, they're just trying to get rid of people and trying to tank. The only thing keeping them up right now is Todd Bowles trying to have some heart, but I don't even know if he has that. Well, do you give Todd Bowles another chance if he gets a chance to kill Williams, or you're just like get rid of him anyways?
I don't. No, I think he's done. I think he's done. I think the only thing really fighting this is, in my opinion, the Buccaneers front office wants to tank, and somehow Baker Mayfield will find a way to have a career year.
That would be hysterical.
And they'll be like 7-10, but he'll have a career year,
That's rough. As for the Panthers, a team with the rookie quarterback and the new head coach, and then a lot of new pieces too. Miles Sanders, who wants to run more, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo. They got some decent players, but it's like I have the Panthers at 5-12. How are you feeling about Bryce Young and the Panthers this year?
There'll be some growing pains. I do like Jonathan Mingo. You're right. I mean, as a guy who could turn into another DJ Moore type player that they once had, I think that's probably a shining spot on this team. Adam Thielen, how old is that guy? I mean, he might be a nice possession receiver, a little farewell tour, but Miles Sanders to me has never really excited me as a running back. I know he had a decent season last year, but I mean, to sit there with no real backup plan in place. I mean, no disrespect to Chuba Hubbard, but if they would have left, if they had kept Deontay Foreman at least, this year, he's off to Chicago. But the crazy thing is with this division specifically is you're not really in love with any of them. But this was the division that won with an 8-9 record. So are we staring down the barrel of a team that can do that again? It's very possible, and probably over 50% likely that the winner is 8-9 or 9-8.
So my scenario with like the Falcons and the Saints, as I move to those two teams, first of all, for the Panthers side, I think Bryce Young, I'm gonna make a bold prediction now before it even starts, and I may bite this bullet later on in life. He'll be better than Cam Newton was. I know Cam Newton made a Super Bowl, won an MVP. I think Bryce Young's a better passer of the football than Cam Newton ever was. I think Bryce, you mentioned intangibles in the AFC show. I think Bryce Young, he looks like he's just poised. Every time I watch him in Alabama, he looked like the most comfortable quarterback they've ever had. And that's me just saying something. I think Bryce Young is going to be really good. But as for the Falcons and the Saints, I think if there was Dennis Allen coaching Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith coaching Derek Carr, I would think the Arthur Smith and Derek Carr combination would work. Unfortunately, I've got bad coach, good quarterback, and good quarterback, bad coach. Or either vice versa. I got the Falcons to win the division at 9-8, but I think Saints could be a team who's got Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Derek Carr, maybe some Alvin Kamara this year. We'll see what happens with that. But it's like good enough defense. Cam Jordan, how about Mike Evans getting 1,000 yard on receiving yards every year? Cam Jordan gets like 5 sacks at least every year. So it's like
5 sacks.
Well, five. He's got like some streak of like how many sacks in a row he gets every single year. I see the Saints winning division, but I trust Arthur Smith more than I do Dennis Allen at this point.
Yeah, so these are the two obvious choices for many people to win the division. Ironically, they finished 3rd and 4th in the division last year.
Wow.
If you look at it by tiebreakers. But actually, if you want to talk about mediocrity of a division, this was it. 8-9 wins the division. The other 3 teams go 7-10. So for me, it's the Saints. I don't know how I feel about Derek Carr. I like him as a quarterback. He's on turf again, so it's not like he has to go outside. He gets, 8-9 games. If you count the Falcons game, I think he gets 9 games indoors, which is huge. But for me, I like the unknown potential of Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
I like to think that, Kyle Pitts is finally going to come out of his shell.
Drake London could be good finally.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you got the Bijan train here at this point. That's going to be the big question mark. I mean, they have a good stable of running backs with Algier. I mean, Patterson's 30-something years old, so we'll see what we can get left of him. I just can't bring myself to pick them because the low-hanging fruit feels like the Saints, so I'm going to pick the Saints to win this division. But It's going to be a neck and neck. And correct me if I'm wrong. If you have the schedule right in front of them, please tell me they play each other in week 18.
I forgot about. I can actually check that real quick while you're talking.
I'm looking at it right now, actually. And let's see. I can. Well, of course, now it's going to slow down on me. But let's see. Week 18, they play the Saints.
It's Falcons at Saints.
Yep. Falcons at Saints, week 18. I think that game decides the division.
Which is funny because I do too. I have the Falcons winning at 9-8. I have Saints going 8-9. I have Panthers at 5-12, and I have Buccaneers at 3-14.
I have Saints. I think we'll get.
That's always a close game too. That's gonna be a great bet too.
I think the Saints get 10 wins this year.
Okay.
And I think the Falcons get 9. So I think it's Saints, Falcons.
You think Buccaneers get them?
No, because I think it's literally like
they're trying.
Both teams win 4 or 5 games. I don't know. This is a tough one, but I'll say it's Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Bucks.
I don't want to keep on going in crazy with this division, but I feel like I like the you said about the good Lord, Desmond Ridder thing, because the fact that I trust Arthur Smith more, I hope that I can get more out of Desmond Ridder than I think I can. But Derek Carr, day one, is the best quarterback in the division, at least for a year. And I don't think he's ever been able to say that.
Maybe when Alex Smith was around.
Right, but even Alex Smith was winning games, making the playoffs.
Well, winning games and talent at quarterback sometimes don't necessarily coincide.
Like the Patriots, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. But yeah, and like the Colts with Peyton Manning. Oh, that's lack of winning. Sorry. So for my money, I'm going to take. You talk about. I don't think Dennis Allen's a bad coach. He's just a defensive guy in a world full of offensive-minded coaches.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, Saints are the better defensive team.
I think Saints are the better team.
They're a better team. They have the better weapons. And you're right. Again, if I'm going to just throw out a prediction on my potential, yes, Derek Carr's the best quarterback, but it's not by much.
Wow.
I like Desmond Ridder. Now, that could blow up in my face.
I like Bryce Young. That could blow up in my face.
Oh, he's a rookie. Let's pump the brakes on him. He's going to go through his pains. And I know Desmond Ridder's effectively a rookie.
Right. Let's do the Ben Simmons thing here. Let's not do that.
Well, I mean, he still played a few last year, but I'm saying, I think Desmond Ridder takes a step. He's been in Arthur Smith's offense. I think the Panthers are lucky to get 5 wins, and I think these two teams battle it out for the division. That Week 18 match matters.
All to face the number 1 seed in the NFC. Wherever that is.
Well, whoever wins the division doesn't face them.
What's funny, when I was doing my predictions, it was like the winner of this division goes from the 4th seed to the 10th seed if they lose. It's so weird how that lines up. They could they could be the 4th seed if they win, but they could be the 10th seed if they lose. Come on now.
That's basically what it was last year too.
Wild. All right. Go to the East now. This one's the popular division. This one's the media hype division. You got Philadelphia, you got Dallas, you got DC, you got New York, one of the New York teams. Let's start with Sam Howell's. I'm never going to do that again. Sam Howell's and Ron Rivera's Commanders. How you feeling? Do you think their defense finally steps up? Or do you think this is Bieniemy waiting for his calling as a coach?
So, yeah, for this one, for me, this is another tough division where I think somebody has to finish last. Ultimately, I think it's between the Commanders and the Giants.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like we're going to stare down the barrel of a similar situation this year as we did last year. The worst team in this division is a 500 football team. I like Sam Howell's fire. I like the way that he plays football. And he's got weapons around him. He's got 2 better than average running backs in Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. I think Jahan Dotson's poised to take another step here. Obviously, you got Scary Terry. Can the defense do their job like they did 2-3 years ago when they were one of the most feared in the NFL? Chase Young has got to find a way to anchor this defense, get back to the old days of Chase Young,
which is funny. He's like 24, but yeah.
I know it's crazy, but he's been through so much with his lower half of his body at this point. I think the Commanders are going to finish right where they did last year, 7-10. 8-9. I guess you can throw in a tie. Didn't they have a tie with the Giants last year?
Yes,
I think they tied last year one game. So, yeah, for me, it's a 7-8 win team right here.
Wow. Pick your okay. So I guess since you're going with the Eagles or Cowboys, who has the edge in that matchup, and who do you like? Oh, I'm sure one of those teams wins the division for you. Do the Cowboys still win it with Kellen Moore? Can the Eagles win their division without our guy Shane Steichen?
Steichen and Gannon.
Yeah, so I'm like, who do you like more? Like, who are you trusting more? I'm trusting the Eagles, man.
Yeah, I trust the Eagles. I mean, you still have Nick Sirianni there, so the offense is not a problem here. Jalen Hurts is taking another step. Again, he's still one of my favorite quarterbacks. I know I beat this into the ground last year, but when he said the rent's due every day, that's just that stuff matters to me when they're talking. I mean, it's very rare that the things that football players say really resonate with me in terms of their motivation. But yeah, I think the Eagles are the best team. They have the best offensive line. They got a stable of running backs. I mean, Miles Sanders couldn't stay healthy, so they went out and did the old, let's go get Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, keep Kenneth Gainwell. They're going to get injured. They're all going to spend time on the injured list. That's just what they do. But you have two top-tier running backs and a second-tier running back. I think people sleep on Kenneth Gainwell, to be honest with you. You have the two 1,000-yard receivers from last year
I think Devontae. Two number ones, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have two, Devontae and AJ, obviously. Dallas Goedert is just such an effective safety blanket. And I know they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I don't know if I really care about that, yeah. But they're one of the top defenses in the league again this year. So for me, they're going to win the division. 12-14 wins, and the Cowboys are going to be right there. I think the Cowboys are double digit victors again as well.
I think I agree with that, and I also agree with. Do your ranks first. I just want to hear who you got.
Okay, so I have basically the same finish as last year. I think it's honestly Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, but I think the Giants are also like an 8-win team.
Oh.
So you can put Giants, Commanders are interchangeable to me. I think maybe the head-to-head goes to New York. I mean,
thank you.
But I think they both missed the playoffs. This isn't a 3-team playoff division.
Disagree.
Of course you do.
Why?
I mean, what do you mean why? The Giants didn't belong in the playoffs last year. Let's not get it twisted.
And to me, they got better in the offseason.
By signing their quarterback.
Darren Waller, Paris Campbell, Saquon should be healthy finally. He got a contract.
I like the Paris Campbell signing. Darren Waller, we'll see.
We'll see. I agree with that. I agree with you. We'll see on that one. I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if they got any better on defense, which was a kind of a thorn in their side. They were literally a net -6 in terms of point differential.
Analytics nerd.
It is what it is. I mean, on the road they were a 500 ball club. In the division they were 1-5. I'm sorry, 1-4-1 because they tied the Commanders. Don't forget they tied the Commanders. They should have lost that one too. By the way, I looked into that tie. They got a gifted pass interference call. Anyways,
Tom Brady got a lot of those. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, he wins Super Bowls when he gets the gift. The Giants just fade out in the NFC divisional round.
Except for against the Patriots, but go ahead again.
That wasn't Daniel Jones or Brian Dable. In fact, was Daniel Jones even born when the first time that happened? Yeah, I think this is a two-horse race and two teams make the playoffs.
Eagles 12-5, Giants 12-5. Eagles win the division. Cowboys 11-6. They make the playoffs as well. And Commanders 4-13 because they're not good enough yet. But I do believe in Sam Howell.
Do you believe Sam Howell is as good as Taylor Heineke?
Ugh. Based off preseason, yes, as good, but I don't know. I don't know if he's better. I don't know if he's ever going to be better, but I would hope to think he is.
Well, Taylor
I
Heineke
think
went
he's as
8-8.
good.
Tyler Heineke dragged this team to 8-8-1 last year. So
That's fine. I'm not a Ron Rivera fan. Okay. Let's do a 30-second countdown, and Aaron maybe will drink some water this time instead of cussing me under his breath next time. But we'll be right back for the North and the West. Is your favorite morning show's NFC preview show. This is the AM Drive. And it's funny, a lot of people out there have done a preview show for the conferences. I was kind of mad that we didn't get to ours when we wanted to. It was kind of like over the weekend, everyone posted theirs. Well, of course they did. But we feel like we're the best ones, so keep an eye out.
And ours is free. Just subscribe.
Yeah, that's true. 58 already have. Can you be 59? You might as well be. All right, NFC North. I know Lions and Vikings fans are going to absolutely hate me. I don't think either one of them win the division. But I want to first get to the Packers and Bears, because I'm not going to tell you who I think wins it. I just want to know, what are your thoughts on those two teams? Do you believe in Justin Fields? I know your takes on that, but we'll let people know again. Do you believe in Jordan Love with the Packers and Coach Matt LaFleur? Well, how are you feeling about Packers and Bears?
All right, we'll start with the Bears here. I don't believe in Justin Fields. They keep saying he's got to get weapons. Okay, well, DJ Moore's a top 15 receiver in the league. 15? I was gonna say top 10, but I think DJ Moore is probably 20. Top 15. I mean, let's split hairs here, but whatever. Right. The point being is that they grabbed him a number one, a true number one. Allen Robinson was gone. He obviously faded out. Darnell Mooney took a spot, but he's not a number one receiver. Can Cole Kmet turn a corner here? I don't think so. And their defense is still terrible. Their defense is still awful. Remember they traded Roquan Smith
for a bag of chips.
Khalil Mack is obviously gone. I
What's
see
the game plan here?
I see an improvement in the win total, but maybe by 2.
Oh.
5 and 12-ish area. Okay, so the Packers here, this is a tough spot for me because I don't necessarily personally believe in Jordan Love.
Agreed.
But sometimes I believe in just the simple facts that sometimes front offices, they know what they're doing. And
the Bears don't, Packers do.
That's right. Not every front office. I'm just saying some front offices. Obviously the Cardinals and teams like that are trying. And there's a reason these teams are bad year over year. But, I mean, you look at it, I think their defense is still solid.
Agreed.
I think the running backs had a down year overall. I'm gonna say that gets better. Christian Watson another year. Hell, from everything I hear and what I've seen in the preseason, Romeo Doubs is better than Christian Watson,
which is insane.
So, theoretically, now you have 2 number ones. I know they drafted a rookie tight end. What's that?
A good coach.
I think he's an okay coach. I think he's a better than average coach. I think he wets his pants a little bit in some tough decisions, in my opinion. But again, I think this is another division of mediocrity, but maybe a slight tick higher than the South.
Agreed.
So I think the Packers are going to be right around where they were last year. I know they were 8-9 last year, but it wouldn't shock me if they just flipped that.
Let's get to those Vikings and Lions. I have to know, do you think either one of them wins the division? And if so, which one do you trust more to win the division?
Yes, I think one of them wins the division.
Okay.
I don't trust the Lions. I don't get it.
I want to ask you a question because I want to make sure we're getting this out of the way. just like with the whole, and everyone gets injured thing, obviously. Big disclaimer: we saw the AFC show. We're going to say an NFC show too. I have to ask you: are you just saying the Lions are not going to be good because of the Lions, or are you saying because you think this regime? Because I don't like hearing, "Oh, they're the Lions and they're cursed." Like, we get that. Is this team good, or do you think they're bad just because of this team?
Well, I think the team. I don't understand the team. I mean, Jameson Williams, your number 2 guy, is out 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You brought in David Montgomery, who I actually do like as a signing, and then you go and draft Jahmyr Gibbs with your top pick, which left everybody's head scratching. So now, are you going to force the rookie to be the guy instead of just coming along like the exact same thing you did with DeAndre Swift? And don't get me wrong, I love Dan Campbell and I love the shtick. But I don't know if he's that good of a coach yet. Again,
Agreed.
This is a situation. I've made a turn in my life, especially in my betting life. If a team has burned me enough or shown me that they don't belong somewhere, until they do, I don't buy it. I mean, we just talked about this with the Angels. You were in love with them this year, and I'm like, until they show me they're not a cursed franchise, I don't buy it. Same goes with any time I used to bet on Jay Cutler. He would always burn me. Always burn me. But the minute I faded him, he was a freaking all-Madden quarterback. So I don't trust the Lions. They needed every bit of a, 6-game winning streak to finish 9-8 and still miss the playoffs last year. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right, but I'm saying I feel right until you prove me wrong. So therefore, by process of elimination, I do believe the Vikings win this division again with 11 wins.
Okay. Who's
not
2?
13.
Okay, who's 2?
Packers.
And then, of course, you go Lions and Bears.
Lions and Bears.
Oh my! Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love what the Vikings did with Jordan Addison. I know we were on him about the driving.
He can't drive, dude.
I have no problem with Alexander Mattison replacing Dalvin Cook. The only thing that scares me is his Vikings defense. Obviously, Jettas is the best receiver in the league. Kirk Cousins, old Mr. Reliable. I think this is the last hurrah. Again, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders, but they're good enough to win this division. I think they're 11-6 this year.
One of these teams make the playoffs is the division winner, obviously. I've got Bears at 4-13. I think Justin Fields. They can take their pick on who they want next year, or they can just keep another year and see he's got potential again. Number 3, Lions are at 8-9. Number 2, I like Coach Pat O'Donnell. I think is his name, or O'Connell. Is it O'Connell or O'Donnell?
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I swear that guy, Kevin O'Connell. I like him. I don't know if I trust his team as a whole. I like the Packers as an all-around team, and I think I can trust Jordan Love enough with a good running back tandem, with good young receivers, and a good defense. I'll take the good defense in a division that they've owned. I'll be with another quarterback. I'll take the Jordan Love guy just because I think division is winnable. I think 10-7 gets it done. I think they make the playoffs as the number 3 seed in the NFC.
10-7 can definitely get it done. I'm going to take a more proven quarterback.
Right.
For me. But here's a question. If the Packers win this division, and obviously there's many other factors.
And the Jets miss the playoffs.
That would be great. But if the Packers win this division, is Matt LaFleur Coach of the Year?
I don't know if 10-7 gets you Coach of the Year.
Are you kidding me?
Oh.
9-7-1 got you Coach of the Year last year.
Thank you, Brian. And he deservedly so. Brian Dale.
Well, you just move the goalpost, don't you?
That's fair. Okay, so I think Matt LaFleur is a tier 2 coach. I don't put him up there with like Belichick and Andy Reid and all them guys, but is he on the list? Is he on the list with Vrabel? Sure. I think he's a tier 2 coach, who like a high tier 2 coach who of course he cannot be Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. He shouldn't have the playoffs over and over again. But I think he's a good enough coach to win this division.
Sure.
And I think Coach of the Year.
I'm just saying, with Jordan Love, I mean, nobody. I mean, you're losing. You're literally. I think Mike McCarthy won Coach of the Year in 2008 when Favre switched. They moved on from Favre and switched to Rodgers. I could be wrong, but
I'll make a prediction now. God Almighty, it's between Matt LaFleur and Jim. I think that's a good pick, actually, considering where my divisions finish, and based on AFC. He might have to contend with Mike McDaniel and Doug Peterson, but I think Mike McDaniel.
It's not. It's conference. It's AFC and NFC Coach of the Year, isn't it?
No, I mean one guy wins it because remember Brian Dable actually
won. Oh, that's
won
right.
it.
Yeah, it was Dable over Peterson last year. You're right. Yeah.
So I'm going to go with. I think Matt LaFleur is going to lose to Mike McDaniel. I think McDaniel will get it on the fact that he wins the AFC East and everyone will pimp them up the entire year. So I'm going to go. I think Mike McDaniel wins it, but I think LaFleur will be close.
Fair enough. I think if they win the division, if they get to double-digit wins and win the division with Jordan Love, I think he's Coach of the Year.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I like it. That's a good. We gotta find out who. If LaFleur and Mike McDaniel are like down there on like the list of coaching of the year odds, that's a good bet to make.
Could be. I'll have to check that out.
NFC. West Coast, Best Coast, Aaron Crouch Coast. Aaron, look at that twice now. Let's get to those Cardinals. Thoughts on it? I got them at 2-15. I don't care. I actually think they're going to miss the playoff number. The number one draft pick because obviously I have the Raiders at 1-16. But if my bet was on who would make it the number one pick, it's obviously the Cardinals.
Yeah,
any thoughts on them?
I think the Cardinals are actively tanking. I think that secretly even includes Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if you've seen this viral video of his fire-up speech. If you get a chance to watch that, it is awful. It is
on purpose, probably.
And maybe again, I don't know if he's the guy. I mean, there's already Cardinal fans calling for him to be fired. He hasn't even coached a game yet.
Well, they did it to Nick Sirianni. Let's not do that yet.
Well, Philadelphia fan is different, but yes, I understand.
I know Cardinals fans existed.
Yeah, I think Cardinals are actively tanking. There's a reason they shipped out Colt McCoy. They're going with Clayton Tune. It looks like
they're going with Clayton Tune.
They've got to be going with Clayton Tune.
I would love that.
If they're going with Josh Dobbs, they're literally telling us we're tanking.
Well, Dobbs, I think, I read something that he for what it's worth, he was with the offensive coordinator, so he knows the system. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, but it doesn't make him a good quarterback just because he knows the system.
Oh, he's horrible. I agree.
Clayton Tune has literally shined in the preseason, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm just saying. Mike knows a lot.
I mean, James Connors should no longer be a running back at this point anymore.
He had cancer. And Brian Robinson got shot, but go ahead.
I'll play along. Did he really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he survived.
Yeah, well, obviously he's the freaking running back for the Cardinals. They're not gonna roll a hearse through the C gap. He's not dead. Sit, hike, open up the
This is the midnight drive.
Put the ball in the casket and roll it through the C gap. Yeah, they're actively tanking, in my opinion. So you want to talk about a 1-16 team? This might be it. But if we're gonna be honest, find the win. Legit, find the win.
I think I literally it's 4.5 for them. Oh my god. How is that possible?
I'd probably play the under. They only won 4 last year, and Kyler played.
You think Kyler might miss the whole year? No, really.
Here we go. Let's play the game. Find the win. At Washington.
I forgot where let me find out. I don't even know where I got him. Go ahead. Let's play the game.
At Washington.
That's the one they could steal.
I don't see it.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying. But
I hope you're wrong because I have a fairly sizable wager on Washington. I don't have time to explain it, but it's basically what we call the teaser wheel. But it all centers around that game and Washington basically winning that game. Home against the Giants, home against the Cowboys, at the Niners,
no,
home against the Bengals.
No, well, was that week 5?
Yeah.
Well, Burrow's back by that point, I'm sure.
Yeah. At LA, the Rams.
Possible. The NFC West is where they're going to get one, at least one of those.
Yeah, at Seattle. home against Baltimore,
Wow.
at Cleveland, maybe if
Be
Deshaun
nice.
just,
Be nice.
Atlanta,
No.
at Houston,
I think Houston by that point gets a win.
back at home against LA.
I'll give them one against the Rams.
All right, we'll give them one. I said they'd be 1-16. So at Pittsburgh.
Not by that point. I think they'll be peaking at that point.
Then their bye week is 14. They're the week 14 bye week. They might be dead by then.
NFL is selling Caleb Williams to Arizona, I feel like, but go ahead.
49ers in week 15.
No.
Here might be their win. At Chicago, week 16.
Yes, that was the second one, I think. Keep going.
At Philadelphia.
Now unless they have the 1 seed, which they won't, but go ahead.
And then they finish against the Seahawks.
Yes, I give them 3.
You got them beaten by week 18. They're fighting for the number 1 pick. You think they're going to win games?
I think if there's another team that's out, well, that's a good point.
I think if by week 16 they're
by that time they might start James Conner at quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I'd struggle to find one. So yeah, you want to find an 0-17 team? That might be it. Right?
I darn sure couldn't find 4.5.
No, you pound the under.
That's right. So how about those Rams and Seahawks? They're kind of like the second and third place teams here. I just gave that away. But are you thinking we're having another good Geno year? Does Stafford bounce back? How do you feel about those two teams?
Well, obviously the Cooper Kupp injury is...
He's hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, the hamstring is no joke. He's now seeing a specialist for it. I got to wonder if they start out this season 0-3, like, you just shut him down and just get
Stetson
him...
Bennett roll?
What's that? Yeah.
Stetson Bennett roll?
Stetson Bennett can't be a real option. I like the guy, but he can't be a real option. He's what, 28 years old?
I thought he was in college still, yeah.
I think he's in community college. He's taking night classes.
Right.
They're stuck with Matt Stafford. This is exactly what everybody knew. If they got a ring, so it's fine.
It's a Tom Brady thing, but Tom Brady isn't retired yet.
No, this is like you knew by mortgaging your first round picks in your future for the here and now, you were going to be stuck in hell. That's why they were talking about McVay retiring. Because he didn't want to be around for all this. This is going to tarnish McVay's legacy. And I don't see it. No disrespect. Like I said, Cooper Kupp, he's going to be weirdly bothered by this hamstring all year. Like, that stuff doesn't go away for wide receivers. Hamstrings and turf toe, they're like lingering injuries.
It's like Jalen Waddle's got a hamstring thing going on still, too. So.
Yeah. I mean, Van Jefferson's not a true number one if they're missing Cooper
Kupp. He could be the number one. I'm like, what?
I tell you what, though, if you are not a guy who gets Travis Kelce or Darren Waller or Kittle in your fantasy leagues, Tyler Higbee might be a good late round pick because Stafford loves Higbee, and that might be all he has to throw to this year. The defense is Aaron Donald, and a bunch of guys.
He doesn't want to play either.
Yeah, he's checked out too. He got his ring. He's checked out. So yeah, I don't see anything really optimistic for this Rams team this year.
Okay, how good are the 49ers? Are they the number one seed, or how are you feeling?
Well, I was going to switch over to the Seahawks, but
go ahead. Go see.
I think the Seahawks are going to be like right where they are last year, 7 to 10 wins. I don't know if the ball bounces the right way for these guys. They might get 4 cheap ones with LA and Arizona. I'd like to see Geno take the next step and become a real top tier quarterback. Tier 2, tier 3 quarterback. They've got a stable of running backs with Charbonnet and obviously Kenneth Walker, and they've got a stable of receivers. As soon as Njigba is fully healthy.
That's a great last name.
Yeah. It's just a question of,
which broadcaster gets fired first for saying the name wrong?
Oh, God. Yeah, I know, right? Who makes the J silent? If I was an announcer, I would literally be Jackson Smith in Njigba.
or JSN.
Yeah, he's just going to be JSN forever. Yeah, I think the Seahawks. I'll peg them at number 2 in this division. But you're right; it's the 49ers to lose. I even think if and I know this is easy to say because it happened last year, but if Brock Purdy goes down, I'm fine with Sam Darnold.
That's why, yes, I agree.
We talked about this on the show. Like, you can't. Everybody's Trey Lance didn't get a chance. It's like you couldn't beat out Sam Darnold in a camp. Like, what does that tell you about Trey Lance? But anyways, he's gone. 49ers for me, another double-digit wins season. Let's call it a 12-5 season for them. So for me, it's 49ers. It's exactly like it was last year. 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
We're close. Cardinals finished 2-15. They get the number 2 pick. The number 1, but for my predictions, number 2 pick.
Well, that's fine. I understand.
Third place, the Seahawks finished 5-12. Geno is not the answer, but Pete Carroll has set up the Seahawks' future with JSN and a decent team. And Drew Lock might play some of them this year.
Ooh, it's funny. You finally jump on the Drew Lock train when I've literally stepped off it.
It's funny. He might have a career year now.
I don't think Geno even needs to do what he did last year for this to be a good team.
Number 2, making the playoffs as the 7th seed.
Nice. The Rams.
Sean McVay, daddy, and the Rams. Yes. And number 1, as the 1 seed at 12-5. I don't know how this lined up like this, but they got over the Eagles. 49ers, even though they struggle at some points in the year, they get the 1 seed.
How do you feel about Brock Purdy? Like, what do you think he's going to be?
At all.
I'm a fan, but I think he's exactly what they need.
I don't
they don't need Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers to come in there and be a distraction.
I think Brady would have been the best thing for this team. Because he doesn't try to be the guy. He took pay cuts for years so he could let everyone else be the guy.
Yeah, but not in the twilight. He took $50 million from the Bucs.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would have said that in the moment, but looking back on it, like, he's almost like the Trent Dilfer of the 49ers. Just don't F up.
Well, I'm going to echo what Eric Mangini said on First Things First because it reminds me blatantly scary of what I said about Dwayne Haskins when he came out of college. Eric Mangini's words on national television were, Brock Purdy would throw these touchdown passes. I'm just looking at him like, is anyone seeing how wide open these guys are? Is anyone seeing the screen passes he's throwing that turn into 60-yard touchdowns? Like, his interceptions were terrible. He's like, just because he had some good touchdowns does not mean that another guy couldn't do the same thing and, not be bad at it. Like Eric Mangini, I was like, oh my gosh, he's in a good system, but if he starts throwing ugly interceptions, he's in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he's worse than Jimmy Garoppolo.
But see, that's the thing. I don't know if I agree with. I think I would take Jimmy Garoppolo right now over Brock Purdy. But what I'm saying is, he's the perfect quarterback for this situation. Is he going to make mistakes? Sure, but that team is so good around him. Yeah, of course, if you put Patrick Mahomes on that team,
Trey Lance could succeed if that's the case.
Trey Lance is not a good quarterback.
Well.
Because Brock Purdy, I know you don't watch a lot of college football. Brock Purdy was absolutely insane at Iowa State.
What?
Great. He was great at Iowa State.
Huh?
He was. They were just a bad team. He threw a lot of picks.
Well, hold on. You just told me Brock Purdy was great at Iowa State. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Did you watch a single snap that he played? No.
Yeah, I thought he was like Sean Clifford, but somehow he gets drafted by the 49ers, and he's great now.
Why are you saying this? I'm not saying that Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. I'm saying he's the perfect fit because he's first of all, he's cheap. And
second of all, 9th pick in the draft, yeah.
He's the 7th round. He was literally Mr. Irrelevant. He's the perfect fit, and that's why I think that if he goes down, Sam Darnold works just as well.
I have a feeling you're going to pick the 49ers to beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl this year.
No.
That could be a good bet, though, if both these guys are on rookie deals. And
no, just because I think the guys on rookie, I think you put too much emphasis on the transitive property here in this spot.
Hypothetically, that could be a good bet, though. Those are two very good teams.
But you're speaking in absolutes. It's like, a team on a rookie
A
deal.
Jedi never speaks in absolutes.
A team on a rookie deal is just going to win the Super Bowl. It's like, no, it's just like the way this team is built, so set up. They've literally gone to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, who everyone hates. They've gone to an NFC Championship game with Brock Purdy, who you don't like. I don't particularly love the guy, but I think he can do enough to literally do what Jimmy Garoppolo did. And then if they do get to an NFC Championship game and or a Super Bowl, that's where we see the defining moments of Brock Purdy. Same with Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo hits a pass to Emmanuel Sanders, he's not in Las Vegas right now.
Isn't that crazy?
But those are the little moments that matter. And I think Brock Purdy is good enough to get this team there. To win a Super Bowl, I don't know.
I have them winning. Let me lie. I have them making at least the divisional round of the playoffs. But that's because they're the 1 seed. So there you go. There you go.
They're going to beat the hell out of that bye week.
Right. Who gets the number 1 seed in the NFC?
For me, it's the Eagles.
I'm not going to argue with that. That's a good point.
I mean, you got both teams finishing 12-5. I don't know what your tiebreakers are, but I assume they
Whenever
play each other.
It doesn't division of the conferences match up. I said, okay.
It also depends on all the tiebreakers. Do you have? I think they play each other this year, so
that might have been the tiebreaker then.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, that would be the tiebreaker. Yeah, they play each other in week 13, so that's probably your tiebreaker. That's the first tiebreakers head to head. So unless they tie, I think one of those two teams get the number 1 seed. I'm going to give the edge to Philly, just because I think
I love Jalen Hurts. I never thought I'd say that 5 years ago.
5 years ago, he was at Alabama, wasn't he? Getting benched for Tua.
That's what I'm saying. Like, God, it just blows my mind how much I love his professionalism and work ethic now.
I was shocked when he went in the second round. I'll be the first to admit.
I was too, but I was also even more shocked he became that good. I was like, I can't get work. He's like the Deion Sanders and Tom Brady. You can't bet against him. I'm starting to believe that with Jalen Hurts.
Interesting. Because the thing is if you had to go, if the Super Bowl was a rematch this year, would you just blindly bet on the Eagles? Because I think Patrick Mahomes is a guy I can't bet against.
That's the one guy that I would be able to bet against Jalen Hurts with. Is Patrick Mahomes. That's the only guy.
Tough spot.
A win total you like?
So I have 2.
Okay.
I have 2 I like and 1 I'm interested in. Let's call it that. This one I've already bet. I have the Commanders over 6.5 wins. I think they get, like I said, I think they get 8 wins, maybe 9. I don't think they sneak in the playoffs, but I think they're a 500 ball club.
Okay.
The other one I have is the Lions under 9.5. I think they get 6 or 7 wins this year. I don't see it. Their defense is absolutely atrocious. And to me, I don't trust them. I don't trust them.
Jared Goff could have a sneakily good year again.
Sure, he could. I mean, that's fine. When did we fall in love with Jared Goff?
He almost won a ring, which is crazy, but he scored. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you got to score points in the Super Bowl to win a ring.
So he's the number 1 offense, yeah.
And then I like this one. I don't know if I'd even bet it just because it's such a wild card, but it's the Packers over 7.5. We talked about it.
Yeah, that was the first one I like is the Packers over 7.5. I like that a lot. I think Cardinals at 4.5 is like, I don't know who knows something in Vegas, but it ain't me. Under 4.5 for the Cardinals. There's another one. I don't know if I want to do the Bears because I've heard that guys like playing for Matt Eberflus, which is kind of like the same thing you get from Dan Campbell and Mike Tomlin. It's like playing for the guy, and somehow they win 5 or 6 games for God knows whatever reason.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think their ceiling is 6 games, and that's still under 7.5.
Right.
I don't mind that pick at all.
I love the. I think Packers over 7.5 is almost of a steal as much as the Cardinals under 4.5 is to me.
I think if you like the Falcons this year, 8.5. If you like the Falcons to win the division, I think that's the play right there.
That's the only reason I like that, but I still don't. I mean, I don't know if I'm putting too much hate on Derek Carr. I think a lot of people are. Like, oh, he never performed well. Like, well, yeah, but now he's in a division where it's like he's the guy. Like their roster is too good to not win a division, so I don't know if I can just trust the Falcons.
NFL's a funny game, man.
It's a great, National Funny League.
That's fair. Yeah, those are the couple that I like. I don't trust the Lions. And
we'll be back on in 8 hours.
Sweet. Well, this is a recorded show though, so they.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically speaking, though, we will be.
The thing is will these be up by then?
I'll let Labor Day show be its own thing, and then we'll do it. Like, I'll probably snipe this on Tuesday or Monday night
for the games to start on Thursday.
When should we upload these? That's a good point.
Right? Meow.
Okay, the cats are calling. I agree with that.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this one and the AFC one. If you're watching that one as well, how do we end the last one?
It was bad.
Say something to the people. Something to the people.
Right. Okay.
Of course, we're on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now at 10:15 Eastern Time, 7:15 Pacific Time. Of course, you can follow us on all our socials. Pretty much at AM Drive TV, everywhere you can get your social media. And of course, MikeandAaronDrive.com. There's our personal socials, which you're very active on. I'm less active.
You're more of a homer on there, and I'm more of a hot take artist on my mind.
Yeah, doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, I'm an NL insider.
You're at Michael Carvelis, the guy who says "we" with his teams. You're one of those guys.
I think if you support your team, you can say that. The Packers fans can definitely say that's for sure.
Well, the ones who own the team, sure.
Right.
All right, that's it for us here. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Hope you guys got some insights and knowledge and had some fun. So we'll see you guys again, I guess, bright and early. If you're watching this tonight, if you're watching this in the past, we will have already seen you. So take care. Support the channel. We'll see you guys Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday mornings each and every football week. We're out.
Yay. Drive safe.